Good evening, boxing fans, and welcome back. I don't often make boxing predictions, but whenever I do, I'm usually wrong. This is Rummy's Corner. So while I may have been wrong once again, further proving that I don't know shit about boxing, one thing I think I do know is that Deontay Wilder, while still a work in progress, I think he's shown steady improvement in recent years, and some may even say exponential improvement in some regards. And one area where I think Wilder has improved the most, and this I don't think is talked about quite as often, is his ring IQ. I think he's shown to be a much smarter fighter inside the ring than what we were seeing from him just a few short years ago. Going into this fight with Arreola, I was of the opinion that Chris Arreola was going to really push and really test Deontay Wilder, and it didn't play out that way at all. And while I think Chris was game, and while I think at times he was applying pressure, albeit ineffective pressure, Deontay Wilder controlled this fight, and it wound up being the mismatch that many of you told me it would be before the fight. One of the things Wilder seems to have learned is how to really dictate the pace to his liking, where he's in his comfort zone. And he did a fantastic job of that against Chris Arreola, I thought. Good use of his jab, good use of his left hook, good use of distance and pacing and knowing when to throw punches and when to kind of walk Chris to where he wanted him to be. It was an intelligent, workmanlike performance from Deontay Wilder. In the fourth round, Wilder would catch Arreola with a series of punches that sent Arreola down. Arreola looked like he might have been ready to go, but there wasn't that many seconds left in the round, and Arreola made it to the end of that round. And it was around this time in the fourth round, I believe it was reported that Wilder had broken his right hand and injured his right bicep, but Wilder was in complete control of the action pretty much from start to finish. He was too athletic, he was too skilled, and he was too intelligent. And in the times that Chris did get in, Chris was trying to work the body on a few occasions, and when he got in close quarters, he would keep working the body. Wilder kind of shook it off with a showboating type performance to show everyone that Chris wasn't affecting him. But the thing he did that I thought was really good the few times this happened is he came out of those situations by delivering a big loaded uppercut that really got Chris's attention on more than two occasions, I believe. So even though Wilder pretty much lost the use of his right hand, he was still in control of the action using just his hook and his jabs. And he was busting Chris up pretty good, and the fight would get stopped after the 8th round, I believe it was. So it was a good win for Wilder, and with this victory, Wilder has now had 4 successful title defenses in a row, and that puts him in some pretty exclusive company. How exclusive? So at the top of the list we have Joe Louis. He successfully defended the World Heavyweight Championship 25 consecutive times. So Joe Louis tops the list of everybody. After him we have Larry Holmes, the Easton Assassin. He had 20 consecutive successful title defenses. Larry started off as the WBC champion, then he became the first IBF champion, kind of legitimizing that organization back in the early 80s. After the Easton Assassin, we got Vladimir Klitschko. He had 18 consecutive title defenses, starting when he won the IBF title from Chris Bird back in 2006. He'd later add the WBA and the WBO versions to his collection. 18 title defenses for Klitschko. Then we have to go back a long ways and we could look at Tommy Burns. He had 11 consecutive title defenses. After him, rounding off the top 5, all the double-digit members, the elite of the elite, Muhammad Ali had 10 successful consecutive defenses of the title. That was during his second reign. So now for the single-digit guys, you have Vitaly Klitschko. He had the WBC belt, and he successfully defended that 9 consecutive times in a row. You have Smokin' Joe Frazier. He had 9 successful consecutive defenses. Also tied with those two, Lennox Lewis, 9 successful defenses. starting with his WBC strap that he regained the vacant strap in his rematch with Oliver McCall. He would later add the IBF and WBA versions of the titles when he unified against Holyfield. So 9 defenses for Lewis, and also 9 defenses for Iron Mike Tyson, who, like Lennox, first won the WBC title before unifying it with the WBA and the IBF, the 3 big titles of the time. So 9 for Tyson, Lewis, Frazier, and Klitschko. Then we have Jack Johnson. He had 8 title defenses. James J. Jeffries had 7. Rocky Marciano comes in at 6. Jack Dempsey had 5. Evander Holyfield had 4, starting with the WBA when he beat Mike Tyson, and then the IBF. He would unify in his rematch with Michael Moore. Chris Bird ran off 4 successful title defenses in a row, defending his IBF version of the heavyweight title. And then I guess you could also throw in John L. Sullivan for having 4 successful consecutive defenses of the World Heavyweight Championship. But this isn't a very large group of men. There aren't that many people that have done that. 16 people have had 4 or more defenses of some version of a major heavyweight championship belt. Deontay Wilder, with the victory over Chris Arreola, he now has 4 successful consecutive defenses. That's no joke, people. Think of some of the names that are missing from that list. Riddick Big Daddy Bo is not on the list. Sonny Liston is not on the list. Big George Foreman is not on the list. So he's an elite company now. It's a shame what's happened with Wilder in terms of his injuries. I have no idea how long that's going to keep him out of action. And I have no idea about anything regarding the long-term implications of how these injuries might potentially have a negative effect on his performance going forward when he is done with his rehabilitation period. So I don't know what the future holds for Deontay Wilder. It's a shame because he is the kind of guy, he gets some criticism from his detractors about his level of opposition, but he's an active heavyweight champion. He's out there fighting and fighting a lot. I hope that the setback isn't anything major. I'm looking forward to seeing Deontay Wilder back in the ring, and no matter what, with the victory over Chris Arreola, he has now joined an exclusive group of elite heavyweights to have ever successfully defended a major version of the World Heavyweight Championship 4 consecutive times or more. And that's pretty good company to be involved in. This is Rummy. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for more videos in the future. Good night.